Greetings in the love and light of our infinite prime creator. Namaste, namaskar. I wanted to revisit what I was talking about in this last video I posted, where I was saying that basically with this whole concept, the slaves shall serve. And traditionally, people who were caught up in the whole satanic paradigm, if you will, that lifestyle, would typically view themselves as some kind of maverick spiritual entity, that they were living life how they wanted to, living, indulging every possible pleasure that this earth could bring. And that the Christians, the ones who were, traditionally on the surface were living this lifestyle of, living by the Ten Commandments and, sort of the goody two shoes. That's the whole kind of perception, but really we know that none of that holds water or is actually the case. In fact, when I was active in the death metal, black metal music scene, I was guitar player in my band Abythos, Abythos, which had dark, quote unquote, thematic elements and what have you. But one thing I had asked the singer, who was a quite capable intellect and learned and well-read, and just I had utmost confidence in the type of lyrics that he would bring to the table for the band for this project. And the only thing I asked of this guy was, please just stay away from these overtly satanic, cliched, thematic materials, lyrical materials, because it's just overdone. It's just for shock value for the most part. And I didn't really, I kind of wanted to do something that was a little more unique. And furthermore, as I amused myself on countless occasions with the satanic element within the whole metal scene whenever I was around them, after kind of listening to them, kind of seeing them posture and, and go through their antics for the shock value, what have you, and then I would just kind of say, hey, well, you guys, I go, psst, psst, you guys realize that you're still Christians, right? And they would look at me, like, and then I have to explain to them, well, as a Satanist, you're still operating under the umbrella of the whole Christian mythology. So Satanism, all you're still a Christian, because that's what just because you're an adversary or adversarial, you've chosen the adversarial role under the whole Christian paradigm, you're still within that mythology. And you see the light bulb go on in their eyes and whatever, So anyways, I wanted to revisit what I meant by when I said Satanists are really the true slaves. And what I mean is, and Christians, I mean, it's, I'm not trying to point fingers and divide and all that stuff, but what I am trying to do is kind of help people extricate themselves from the whole paradigmic prison of good and evil, this duality that it's a game. It's like a cosmic tennis match. And they keep everybody distracted and keep everybody not really progressing. And what I mean by that is, if we look at the chakra system, and what I meant when I said Satanists are really slaves, and Christians too, for that matter, but it simply can be better understood and perceived in this method. So you have the traditional 7 chakra systems, and chakras are essentially, just depictions of energy centers and levels of consciousness. And so you see down here in this person is the genitalia area, we have the Muladhara chakra, or the base chakra, the root chakra, which is traditionally associated with color red, and anything to do with survival, reproduction, sexuality. It's nothing. It's not a bad concept. It's just that's your survival energies, right? And then you go up a little bit further, and you have your chakra around the navel, then your solar plexus. But essentially, anything that's your root chakra that grounds you to your base, which is the earth, and anything associated with your existence in a 3D, third dimensional realm involves your root chakra. And so when I said that a Satanist is really the true slave, because what happens is it's all these higher frequencies and higher states of consciousness within the satanic paradigm, for the most part, for the foot soldiers and for all the people that are kind of the slaves, the true slaves, they're locked down to this root survival energy. And that's what's preyed upon. And it's sort of like if you had a car, a vehicle, any kind of performance machine, and you were only aware of one aspect of the potential performance of that machine, and you were ignorant of this whole other realm of, like, let's say you had a motorcycle or a fast car that, wow, you were explored everything to do with the gas engine in it, right? That it could go like 200 miles an hour, and you were just like in awe of like how bad that was. But unbeknownst to you, because you have been purposely basically distracted from any other performance values of that machine, you weren't aware that it had a warp drive, that it could do this invisibility, cloaking. I mean, a whole host of upper level, higher frequency, higher vibrational performance skill sets that because you were locked down and distracted and kept in with a certain sort of frequency area, meaning the reptilian survival area, you just weren't aware that the machine had all these other capabilities. And that's what I mean is when I said you're a Satanist and you're kind of like kept with blinders on to creation, and you're not, you don't look outside of your little paradigm because, you dismissed it, and you're kind of, and Christians too. I mean, they're all part and parcel, as I stated. It's all part of the same little control mechanism, but it can best be understood by looking at the chakra system. And the root chakra is basically tied in with the reptilian brain to some extent. It's the fight or flight mechanism, but there's so much more performance skill sets involved in the human design and what we have going on. And to kind of follow up or kind of talk about that a little bit more, here's an article from I guess a more Christian perspective, but someone talking about the chakras. And because they're saying that because chakras are unseen, there's been very little scientific exploration into the possibility of their physical existence, and therefore have been left. But yeah, there actually has been a lot of scientific, it's just stuff that's kept from the general public because they want to keep everybody locked in to this certain low level performance, fight or flight reptilian mode. And so and this article is kind of talking a little bit more about that. We all accept the energy of the body that moves along the nerves. Electrical impulses happen at the cellular level, and the sparks of life move from cell to cell and up and down a huge information highway that collectively we call the nervous system. So we don't think of that, we just react. So this is just kind of an article explaining from a Western perspective about the energy systems within the body and how they relate to consciousness, states of consciousness. So that's what I was kind of getting at with the whole, and then the root chakra is associated with the color red, which is, here in the West, everything red, satanic, it's all that color red. It's because that's the energy that, and when you talk about colors, it's vibrations, frequency vibrations on the light spectrum and what we are able to perceive. So red is that, survival, reptilian sort of existence. And that's where you're kept as a Satanist. And that's what I meant. And as a Christian too, because it's all the whole duality. Anything to do with duality keeps you in that reptilian survival, fight or flight mode. So chakras are known to be transmitters and receivers of energy at the 7 glandular points throughout the body. And this gives you some reference to that, ovaries, testes, sex, adrenals, survival, pancreas, love. So the 7 is a magic number. It's a holy number as been put out because it corresponds with the human design. The 7 major chakras, and then you see evidence of how they correspond to the different in the endocrine system and the glands that are connected to the major chakras. And most websites and books on chakras define them as wheels of energy or energy centers. These wheels of energy were first described in ancient Sanskrit writing as the Vedas, as the Hindu scriptures. Yes, the 7 wheels of energy are located near major endocrine glands and are thought to correspond to different states of mind and personalities, right? And that's a very good way for a person who doesn't really understand to correlate your focus, your intention. Remember, energy follows thought. Your focus in this life, if you're kind of locked down to that root survival chakra, and that's all you're thinking, I mean, you know, you're being preyed upon seriously, because that's where the lower astral, the lower energies are manipulated, or where they arise from, and how you're kind of kept tied into the system. So I'm going to title this video Satan equals slavery, source equals sovereign. And what I mean, you know, source meaning prime creator. If you're in touch with your soul awareness, your intuitional awareness, that's your source awareness, and you're a sovereign being. There's nothing that holds any power over you. I mean, you know, if in the sense that if you were locked into the reptilian brain paradigm, the 3D digital matrix, then yeah, you're the worst. It's a horrible existence. I've been there, done that, you know. So I'm not just like talking, making this shit up. I'm talking about from experience, you know. So I'm live infinite gratitude to wake up as a sovereign human being, escaped from the matrix, master of my lower nature. I'm a work in progress, you know, but I can see the manipulation, even though my ego is still susceptible to engagements, I guess, being activated but I'm aware of it. I'm able to control it. I always have been through my martial arts studies, but it's a lot of times, you know, there's none so blind as who won't see, but a person has to be constantly on their guard against how if you're being led into an ego situation, you know. So it's anyway infinite. I'm personally infinitely with infinite gratitude to be able to wake up and enjoy the very divine aspects of being alive here in this 3D world. I mean, it's kind of one of the hardest places to be alive right now in the whole universe, multiverse, planet Earth. But if you're here right now and you're watching this video, or not that these videos are so special, but what I mean is like if you're here in this Kali Yuga and you're striving to make sense of things, then you're on the right path. Okay, you've made it to this point for a reason. But I'm telling you, I've just watched a couple of videos, and I wish I could remember this fellow's name. He's an astral warrior. I'm bad with names, but I'll put a link in this video. But you know, we're not out of it quite yet. Humanity, we become as a collective. We achieve what it is we're meant to achieve. We still have issues with the dark cabal, the reptilian agenda, or you know, all that stuff. But we must prioritize, and we must get our houses in order and start realizing that the human divine biomatrix is there's a lot to it, more than just that root chakra. And when you start allowing your energies to kind of ascend, and that's what ascension's all about. That's what the new earth is all about. That's what 5D earth is all about, is living in those higher consciousness, states of consciousness in those higher vortexual wheel energy centers. And that's what the whole chakra system's about. And that's what I meant when I was saying, if you're a Satanist and you're tied into all that, I feel sorry for you. You know, try to make sense of it and start climbing the energy ladder. Because that's really what it's all about. I mean, if you're driving around, puttering around in your human bio vehicle, your genetic vehicle, and you know everything's constantly sex, fight, you know, food, everything's survival, and you're not really you're not exploring that hyperdrive that you have in there. You're not up there in that crown chakra that leads into your galactic chakra. And there's a whole nother side of existence than just living like an animal. And nothing against our animal kingdom brothers and sisters, because that's where that's in the second density. That's the density before the third density. And the more that we can interact with earth and animals and nature, we're all part of this together. So, but as a human, if your soul is incarnated in the human genetic vehicle, your responsibility is to your soul growth or connection back to your soul. If you want to live like an animal, then you're gonna fall back, or much worse, be sent to central sun and have your whole energy eradicated. And I don't know what happens after that, but so anyway, that's some perspective on what I was talking about. Just you know, I don't. You know, sometimes I'll lapse back into the whole Christian paradigm, but it's just another mythology, another paradigm, a way to explain or understand our energies. And it's all energy. Everything is energy. Energy follows thought. Humans are, if you're an aware human in the Kali Yuga right now, you're blessed. You have this genetic vehicle that is its sole purpose is to keep you alive, to get you back in touch with your soul. And that's really, it's not about having 20 houses and all this stuff. It's all about your soul connection and your soul growth and awareness. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and you're going to end up in the satanic trap and go through all that crap again. And I don't know. Anyway, namaste. Namaskaram.